You are about to get an hour plus with my most profitable student ever. Javi is my most profitable student ever, my most consistent student ever out of thousands of students. You are looking at the pinnacle of what I've taught and what he's created on his own back. So make sure you guys pay attention to what he talks about in his system. Listen to all the free chicken he's gonna fucking give to you guys today. Ladies and gentlemen, throw some fucking quantum gang in the chat. Let me see the quantum gang in the chat. Throw some 420 in the fucking chat and give it up for the biggest, the best, the most profitable motherfucker in the entire 72,000 person Discord. Give it up for Javi the Maestro, baby. Javi, it's all yours, brother.
What's up, everybody? How are we doing today? 420 in the gang. Just took a freaking huge puff right now. There it is. There's a cough. How's everybody doing today? Huh? 420, guys. This is for all my 420 gang. All right. Let's get cooking. I'm already cooked. I would be lying if I told you that's like not the 10th puff I've taken all day. So I'd be lying if I told you that. But we're here. The fun part is I can do this in any condition. All I have to do is play my game, wait for my setups, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. That is what Quantum helps me do. Quantum is my birth child. I've been working on this strategy for a very long time. Okay, very long time. When I started taking the mastermind, that's where things started piecing together. That's where I started using other things that allowed me to build the roadmap to reading the market. You guys watch me on Power Hour. You guys watch my content. I'm known for calling precision plays on MOC, right? Market on close is a candle that is a very big move in the institutional level. And I can call them to the T almost every single time because of quantum shift, because of the levels, just the levels, okay? Quantum is a roadmap to reading the market. You will see and pinpoint exactly where the market's going to pause, where it's going to move to, where you're going to chop. And, right, if you get to the level that I'm at, you can play the chop and collect quite a bit. I'm the king of chop. I love playing the chop. While everyone else hates price action, I'm sitting in my chair laughing my ass off because I can't believe how easy it is when you can identify it to play it. And all of that's thanks to quantum, right? So I want to I don't share a lot of stuff. I don't like to flex, as most of you guys and gals know, right? I don't need to flex big ass numbers. I don't. To make big ass numbers. You don't need to, right? I'm the guy that's going to teach you how to protect your accounts. I'm the guy that's going to teach you how to not throw away money into the system unnecessarily. Why? Because when I first started this thing, right? I want to tell you guys, when I first started trading futures, I had less than $1,000 in my bank account. Now I'm well over six figures, all thanks to quantum. This system that I built helped me keep myself in control. Everything in here is a roadmap to tell me what the market's going to do. Where is it going to react? Where is it going to pause? Where am I going to wait for a flip? Everything there to do what I do. Every single one of you can do it. Okay? Go check out my YouTube channel. You'll see endless videos on there, right? This is my cheat code to reading the market. This is the cheat code to reading the market. Understanding where it's going to pause, where the chops are going to form, and then what to wait for, okay? I'm giving up some sauce today. Just so y'all know, I'm giving up a little bit of sauce on how I read market structure. Because market structure is one of the things that we all know, we all talk about. I'm giving away a little bit of sauce on how I can call these retests to the T the way I do. With being able to determine where the market is going to test to build those structure points. Guys, I am on every Sunday night. And I try to sneak in a little extra session. So when I'm doing the sessions, we're reading the market live, in person, right? This isn't a pre-recorded thing. This isn't back testing. I'm not a personal fan of back testing. I love forward testing. When I'm testing something, I'd rather forward test it than back test it because I want to see if the market's pattern, the pattern's going to be repetitive and what setup is going to be the setup that's going to play the most that day. So let me clear up the chart, and I'm going to go over how I like to pinpoint areas, where the market's going to retest, and what time frame, especially during Asia. During Asia, the market is hard to read because of the low volume and the chop we usually see. We've been spoiled the last month or so with the volume during Asia being high, with all the war talk and all the fun stuff that's been going on in the news, right? So right now, from what I'm looking at, okay, quantum on the 5-minute time frame, this is the time frame where I'm paying attention to my trend, right? I'm seeing deep green. We're in uptrend. You see 2 layers of green, right? You see the dark layer and the light layer. The dark layer is the current time frame's trend. The dark layer is a blend of the 10 and 15-minute trend, right? If we manage to break down below, there's a chance for you to test this area down here, right? So where I can look at what's happening with the price action, where we're potentially going to retest for there to be a build of structure, right? The market does 2 things. We know this, right? The market trends and ranges. That's what it loves to do. Now, when the ranges vary based on the time frame you're in, right? When the 1 minute is looking super choppy, it's usually because either the 2 minute, the 5 minute, or the 10 minute is forming a range. And when I could identify where that is going to potentially happen, I can do so on the higher time frames. So if I'm looking at my 5 minute, right, I can tell where a potential range is going to occur based on my quantum candle showing up. And the quantum candles for me are my main key areas of support and resistance, with the levels being the secondary area. So if I just have these candles here, I can use these as my main guide for stepping stones of what the market wants to do. Now, the blue candles have a specific chain of events that have to occur for them to turn blue. It's not just volume. It's not just a special, like, oh, okay, this has to hit a certain price for it to close. No. Some people have tried to decipher it. There's a lot of complexity into why it turns blue. Okay, there's a chain of events that have to occur. And if you guys watch the charts, especially during Power Hour when I'm sharing them, or in my content, you'll see there are instances, because all my content, remember, I want everyone to be clear. Every single one of my reads during the recordings of YouTube, they're live. It's live price action. I'm not doing replay mode ever. Okay, I'm always reading the market live, so I'm seeing the same reactions over and over and over again. So when I'm looking to see what's going to happen, right? If I look at my 1 and my 1's looking super chop, like I'm seeing the breaks of the blues and purples and they're not doing what I'm expecting them to do, I'm going to go look at my 2 and I'm going to see what my 2 is doing, and then my 5, and then I want to see what my 5 is doing. That'll give me a basic read of what the market structure might try to be forming. Are we going to be uptrending? Are we going to be downtrending? Right? And I can determine that very simply by looking at what is breaking, right? Are my quantum blue candles breaking, or are my quantum purple candles breaking? Which one is giving way more? And that's telling me where the trend is going to try to go. So an example down here, we have the beginning blue that triggered a buy signal, right? And for quantum, there are a few setups. What triggers the signals is a simple chain of events, that is the action lines that form our levels crossing inside one of our quantum candles. That usually gives that area strength. When you get extra choppy, you're going to see the crosses and the candles show up in the same area. And usually that center point where it crosses tends to be in the same vicinity, and that will be your center point of the potential chop that's going to form. So when I'm reading chop, I'm not looking to enter anywhere near that center point. I want to enter either at the bottom or the top to see if I'm seeing the reactions for it to give me a push up or push down depending on where it's getting stuck. So for me, it's very simple to identify what the market's doing based on what the candles are doing for me with these particular candles, right? This 5 minute between 11:20 and about 1 o'clock, this was kind of choppy and ugly looking. But for me, I could see that slowly pushing up. My blue candles are holding. All right, this is the 5 minute chart. And you can see the little stepping stones, boom, pushed up, boom, pushed up, boom, pushed up. Then I start seeing where the direction's going, because what am I seeing over here, right? The purple is broken right here. This is my bearish candle. My purple quantum candle is the first break. My blues are not breaking. And when I'm talking about a break, I'm talking about a candle closure. So as long as the candle does not close below, we're not going down until it closes below. And each time I'm getting these wicks and the candles closing above, there's a chance we're going to get the contention to the next side. And you can see where it gets stuck. Each time it pulls up, where it gets stuck, and then it slowly keeps breaking those purples and not breaking the blues. And so when I'm reading this, I'm looking at my 1 minute as well, right, between 1 and 4, and I'm going to see what the 1 minute is doing between 1 and 4 o'clock. So here we go, between 11 and 4 o'clock. Am I seeing the same thing, right? I'm seeing purples breaking, blues holding. Then we get into a little bit of chop here, right? Still no new blues forming. Here's our first blue, breaking through the purples, slowly continuing that little track up. And you can see the same thing happening on the lower time frame. And then I can pretty much identify where the market structure is basically trying to form. On what time frame is it trying to form, right? I'm looking at my 5, I'm looking at my 1, I'm looking at my 2. And if the 2 minute, right, you can start to piece it together, right? What is an uptrend? Higher lows. You're going to get higher lows and higher highs, higher lows and higher highs. So I start seeing where the pullbacks are going to occur and where I'm expecting a reaction and a bounce. So if I'm seeing these blues start forming here, I'm seeing push up, there's a curl down, right? I'm seeing if there's levels or anything on each time frame where I can catch a potential bounce based on what the market is trending and where those market structure points are going to build. So that's why my trades are very low risk, because usually the stop losses for these are the bottoms of where the new swing high or swing low is going to be, or just the candles alone, right? The blues and the purples are going to be my main stop losses. When you see the lines above, that's your stop loss line. So if I'm trying to short, right, if you're using something outside of quantum and you're entering, let's say you had a level at 684, a personal level of yours, and you had here and you didn't have quantum on, you would probably hold into this for a loss and then probably take a stop loss here, because this isn't telling me that this is going down until these purples start to hold, right? So these purple candles keep holding, they keep breaking. The blues are holding. I'm sorry, I said the wrong way, but the blues are holding, the purples are breaking. Who's winning? The bulls are winning. This is as clear as you can get, right? Outside of just every green and red candle, because you can see red and green everywhere, and you're not going to know which one's the strongest one, which one you should be paying attention to. This gives you that, right? These clear support and resistance points. The blues are support, the purples are resistance. These are where the things get stuck at. This is where I draw my lines. When you guys look at my lines on my chart during power hour, this is what I'm drawing right here, right? Where is this going to go? Is it going to break up top, and is it going to try to hold this and go? Or is it going to break below, and is it going to come down, right? Breaks the top, 665 needs to hold. There's your push up. Comes back to retest that 665 area, holds up, pushes up. Then it starts breaking each next area, right? Each purple candle that keeps breaking. You're going to see that area get held, pushed down. If it breaks below, you see it push back down. This is how picture perfect I can read the market. The way I read it, these clear points of touch, these clear points of tap, always happening nonstop over and over and over again. Test. It's what do you guys call it? The BNR. I think they've been calling. I've been hearing the morning show, and these guys have been saying BNR every day, right? Break and retest. That is literally my bread and butter. I play nothing but break and retest unless I have something like Saucebox in play. Okay, and Saucebox is something that I teach my students. This is a secret of mine that I use a lot of, and I caught a little bit of rejection over here earlier for push down, and it just rejected again beautifully. Okay, if you got this, if you guys want to learn more about this, right? I'm going to hint. I'm working on a course, a bit of a course, guys, where I'm going to go in and answer a ton of other questions, exactly how I trade, all of my strategies bunched up into a nice, beautiful package. So you guys can learn to read the market the way that I do. It's going to be exciting, and there's going to be a wait list we're going to send out for you guys that you guys will be able to sign up for and be one of the first ones to be in line when it begins, because it's going to be huge for me. I'm literally going to show you guys everything on how I read, how I set things up, MOC, how I set up my mobile trading, all that fun stuff, but I'm not going to go into that right now. Okay. So right now, right, we got that rejection. What are we seeing, right? For me, if I was in the long up here, this is where I would get out of my long. Why? Right? What's occurring right here? What are we getting? You're getting the blues breaking and your purples are holding. So for now, the longs are dead. There's no point in holding on to a long. If I caught this right up, there's no point in me holding on to a long anymore, because this 810 now is broken. You see it retesting 813, couldn't hold, broke back down again. And now you're getting blues to break on the 1 minute. What is happening on the 2? All right. Oh, look, we got an A++ setup. Okay, what is an A++ setup? These are very simple. These are formed with our action lines that cross inside the candles that break in and form these levels. Okay, that's literally it. We're getting a 5 minute. Ooh, we're getting a 5 minute setup here. Let's watch this play out live. And again, this is live, guys. Remember, this is live market reading. Like, this is what I'm looking at when I'm looking at these setups, right? The 2 minute began the process. Right? This isn't replay stuff. This isn't something that, you know, you're gonna see on Instagram. You're gonna see these people saying this indicator is perfect. And then if you pay attention when they're in their cars and they're making a trade, you can see the rewind arrows in their contracts. And if you're not paying attention, you don't notice that. And a lot of people will fall for it because you can make anything in replay look good. And look at what's happening right now, y'all. Like, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? The power of Confluence is blues breaking, A++ setup forming here. And this is a very simple setup when you have confluences. I have Saucebox Confluence. The short looked really good. Entry is candle closure. Stop loss is above at these red lines, right? Everything is structured for you. If you guys are playing these signals alone, you have to have confluences. Do not blindly play these, okay? Legacy, it is not a clean trifecta play because this here did not trigger for me a signal. So when I'm looking for a trifecta, I want the 1 to start the signal. This didn't give us a signal, so technically it's not a clean trifecta. So it did follow through to the 2 and the 5. You could take a look at the 10 and see if it's following through on the 10, right? You did get a signal over here, and you can see where it held below. It never closed above. And we can see what the 15 is trying to do. And then you could kind of follow the progression, and the setups are the same on every single time frame, right? Nothing on the 15 really. But you'll see stuff like this, guys. Look at this, right? A++ setup on the 15-minute time frame. Am I going to catch this? No. Why? Because I'm impatient, right? I'm not patient enough to test this. This was 1 p.m. on Monday. Called this push up. 1 p.m. on Monday. Before the market closed, it pushed from 695 to 750. 750. Market closed at 430. Actually pushed it up even further if you were patient enough to hold it into 430. I am not. I'm not that patient. But the setups are the exact same on every single time frame. I see your phone there. Okay, you guys are talking amongst each other. Well, look, that short played out pretty nice on that 2 minute signal right there. Right? For Asia, the secret for me is to use the 2 minute time frame for cleaner moves on Asia. 2 minute, do they take a little bit longer at times? Yes. Okay, let's watch this, guys. I'm going to watch this because this 5 minute needs to close below this 796, and I need to see it stay below. So if it closes below and it stays below, we should see potentially another push down. But this wick up here is going up pretty deep. So there's the candle closure in 11 seconds, and I want to see it stay below. So if I'm looking at my 1 minute, my 1 minute's trying to curl up. We do have levels at 781. If this is going to form a potential contention, right? We did make a lower low here from this swing low right here, right? So if this is going to come up to retest, where's the area where it could potentially retest? If it does, there's two for me. Either this 796, which I would personally want it to hold below, but if it breaks over 796, it could retest all the way back to up to 807. Now, 807 would be the next area where I would look for if this is going to push back up to potentially reject to do what, right? If this is going to be a potential flip of trend on the 5 minute, you want your 1 minute now to do what? Make lower highs, lower high. So if this is going to pull up, you want to see it come maximum over here, 807, and then reject to potentially come back down. Right, and this is the roadmap that Quantum builds for me. If I miss this short, am I going to get into it now over here? Personally, no, I don't want to, because the move already happened. Now, if you're patient enough to play the 5 minute, there's a potential setup there if it can hold below that 796. But if it breaks over 796, there's a chance for it to pull up. So there's two setups here that you can play: the short under 796, or if it breaks over 796, the potential chance to get up to 807. With the way the ATR is looking right now, that's not that many points. Okay, for the let's see what ATR looks like. It's five points. So ATR is kind of crappy right now, but you can potentially get about a 7, 8, 9, 10 point scalp there up until 807. When it's wider, when there's more volume and the market's more volatile, there's more room to play with. That's why I love it when there's big swings and there's a big range, because the swings are pretty good. And then you could play the retestable area to form that structure to retest the next resistance that could potentially continue the down move, right? That 2 minute is playing clean, right? And this is where I catch these flips of potential trend. All right. Something just flickered on my screen. I have to take a look at it. Okay. Yeah. All right. That was weird. Something just flickered on my left screen. All right. So right now, this is where we're trapped. Okay. We're trapped in between levels. MOC is very simple. Okay. MOC is literally just level play. Market opens, right? I play market opens. When I'm looking at the market opening, right, 6 o'clock, right? It threw this signal off, but the problem with this signal is the crossover happened in front. So when I'm looking at this potential long, if I'm going to enter this, I need to see it close and hold above this 81 where that level formed. So you'll see where this level formed. You see that dashed line right there? That level formed right here, 781. That's where I'm looking for this to potentially come down to if it's going to continue down. And then I want to see what it does down here. Right? If it breaks that 781, the next area that this contests is all the way down here back to 755, which is this blue candle. Below that, sauce box right there. Okay. Face is slimming down. Oh, and is that the... Nope. The action lines we use, they're not a typical EMA, right? You could look at the 9, you could look at the 21, you could look at the 50, and you could use them as added Confluence if you guys know how to use EMAs, right? I'm going to also go into depth on that, how I used EMAs when I was making my discoveries on how I used EMAs to track price movement. And then the ones that I was looking for to line up with Quantum, look at this going, it's going. When I was using this to pair with Quantum, what I was reading with each one. So I have a ton of information and a ton of data I don't share on how I use EMAs, on how I read candlestick structure and determine what can happen with failed 3 bars versus clean 3 bars. And I play those. Like, I have a lot of extra stuff that I'm going to go over later on as well. So that's something that, you know, that's extra sauce that eventually I will answer. All right. So here we go, right? Look at this. Played out beautifully, guys. And this is live. Again, look at that. 2 minute perfect signal right here. This is A++ setup. Candle closure. Retested a little bit to these levels. As long as it holds the levels, you tend to be good. Stop loss would have been above 813. So that's already a 20-point move. And you were risking less than 14 points, right? This was what? Entry would have been 801. Stop loss 12 points. 12-point stop loss. And you would have caught that nice little ride. Right, I go for one. Where are we reacting to right now on the 5? Right, we're challenging the bottom cloud at 783, where this lines up with these levels below. So this is the next area I would want to see potential reaction. If it's a strong area, we won't get close to it, and you're going to see it potentially try to flip up here. We're going to see a potential level forming here at 88. There's a blue candle trying to form. You're going to see it turn blue and 9. The sequence needs to complete for it to stay blue. And this could retest up to 807. There it is. So let's watch this one here go. And I want to explain to you if I would even play this. This one's risky. Why? Because the crossover is on the bottom side of the candle. Did not turn blue. I mean, it did not stay blue. This is where you wait for confirmation with candle closure. And I would want to see 80. I would want to see this 80 hold. And if this is going to be a failed bullish move, you're going to see a little push up, and then eventually you're going to see it break for continuation to potentially touch down here. But let's watch this one play out. I want to see the 2 minutes start to break over 795. And if we can break over 795 on the 2 and hold, we're definitely going to get that push to 807. Maybe not all the way. It's a 5-minute level, so it might not hit all the way. All right, there it is. There it goes. Look at that. All right, 5 points so far. Candle closed at 92. Let's see if this can continue to push through. The 2 minutes turning blue. So A++, I want the crossover to be within the center or the back. That's an A++. Added confluences, I want there to be levels nearby, sauce box, something else that I'd be using that would give me extra confluence for it to give it a push. And how much room do I have from this area to the next area, right? From 791 to 807. You have some room, right? 800 is technically a psychological levels, right? Psychological levels are anywhere in the hundreds, and 800, 700, 600. Just one of these areas that tend to give you a little bit of hesitation at times. So now we need to get through that. Right? I want to see this 2 minute start to hold above that 795 and continue to pull up, and then we'll see the next potential lower high. Maybe we'll see a lower high if it can get up there. It might not. That's a problem. It might not. Now, if this fails to push up further, right? If you got that 5 points, you were risking 5. You got 5 for 5 right here, right? You were risking 4 points. You got 7 points off of that. If your runner's running, you would let it run from entry or from below the blue candle to see if you get that little push up. If it fails, you're going to see a potential push. You're going to see a lower high, and you're going to see a potential push down to this level below. And then you would see the pattern happening again until the continuation occurs. But for now, let's see. This is still pushing, right? There's 800, all right? And this is how I do what I do. There's 801, right? Already almost 10 points here. There's your 10 points. There's your 10 points right there, guys. And this is, again, right? This is live. You guys get to get a nice look at what I'm reading and how I'm doing this. There's 10 points. We hit 803. Got really close. Got really, really close. You caught that reversal, Carlos? Way to go. All right. I want to see what it does next at 807. This is where I want to see. Look, our 5 turned blue as well now. Right? And this, if this is going to continue to do the potential flip a trend, right? If your trend's going to flip, if this is the new, this is going to be the lower low, you want there to be a lower high, that 807 is where you want to see it hold. You want to see it hold below 807. You don't want to see it break above 811. That will be a continuation on the uptrend on a higher time frame at that point. But let's see what it does here. It's trying to hold above here, right? Look at the signal on the 2 minute, right? Here's a good read on not an A++ setup and why, right? There, the cross is happening in front of the candle. So this is pushing up already. The move's already in progress, right? The play was on the 1. The 1 minute was the play. The 2 minute is the continuation. Now you have a level at 795.75 on the 2 minute. Okay. Right. We couldn't muster any strength to get all the way up to 807. We got really close. You got your 10 points. Your runner might get trailed out. Now you want to see if this is going to break below 78 and then break below 87 to continue the move down, or is it going to pause here and start to potentially range? And then your range could be between 88 and 807. That's where you can be. So as somebody asked why 807, there's a 5 minute level here that got formed, right? And this, I'll zoom in so you guys can see how these levels are formed and why these action lines are not regular EMA lines, because these form our levels for us right here. That crossover right there, this is the 5 minute, formed that 5 minute level right there. Same thing on the 2, right? These are the 2 minute levels right there. There's your crossover. There's the level that formed, right? On the 1 minute, the exact same thing. There's your 1 minute. There's your crossover. There's your level right there. And now this is where we're stuck, right? What can this be doing next? Right? I want to zoom out. We already see the first shade of red on the 5. So the 5's trying to flip down, but it needs to stay underneath that 807. And then you want to see this potentially be your new lower high. And this is how I use quantum as my roadmap. Like, this is why I can take trades whenever the frick I want. I don't have to wait for setups, and I can find room for good trades. Low risk trades, guys. You can see the low risk trades here. This first setup was a less than 5 point risk trade. You got 2 to 1 R on that one, right? This one was about a 12 point trade, right? 802 pulled down to 86. So this one gave you 15 points. So it gave you your 1 to 1. You're going to collect no matter what you do, as long as you're patient, as long as you're waiting for confirmations, as long as you're getting in the consistent entries and you're staying sized consistently. And that's the secret. You got to maintain the same routine, right? Just like the way I read quantum. I read the same patterns over and over and over again. They happen every single minute of every single day. I can do this on repeat no matter where I'm at, no matter what time, whether it's Asia, whether it's London, whether it's New York, whether it's in the middle of the day in the random ass time, who knows what's open. I can find something to nibble on. There's 807. There it is, right? Boom. And guess where it reacted? Where did it wick hard off of? 807. That is the roadmap. This is how I read the market the way I do, right? Earlier during Power Hour, I said, if this can hold in above here, we're going to see 66 next, right? It launched way over 66. That thing took off way over 66, and then it closed up at like 810, right? When both Logan and I called that at the end of Power Hour, and it was beautiful to see it happen at 440. I wish it happened earlier, but you take what the market gives you when it gives you it, right? Right now, 807 is the pause. We need to break through 807, and holy crap. What was that, guys? Look at Quantum doing it live, guys, live. Holy shit. I'm telling you, Quantum catches these things way before they happen. You guys got to witness it live. Look, it called it all the way down here. 2-minute follow through. There's your 5-minute right now. And look where it wicked. Look at this. Look where it wicked. Like, look at the precision.
Javi, I got to jump in here for a second. I want everybody to see what Javi just saw right there. Do you see where that thing touched?
Yeah, that's what I'm showing them right there.
Level. It went right. Look at that. That is insane. It's just insane. Like, freaking blasted through that level and literally just nuked itself to the next level.
Yeah.
On the 5-minute, like,
right.
To the
top.
Absolutely.
Now you want to see us stay over 810. This is an impulse candle, so this 5-minute needs to hold above 810, right? 810. I love this shit so much, guys. This is like, if you guys look at my early content, you're gonna see, right? And I know right now it's always like crazy with the way Trump's market is, but when I'm reading these and I'm looking at these levels to break and I have a runner going, and you guys look at my early content and you see me like reacting to $200 or $300 in the blink of an eye, that's genuine, because that was one trade and I was done with that account, and I was potentially going to get another payout, right? Depending on how close I was, with my targets being 250, because all I aimed for was 250. 250 was my main target for almost 2 months. In 2 months, I made almost $19,000 just hitting 250 on 450K accounts, right? You don't need a lot to make a lot. You don't. I want a lot of people who struggle like me, because I remember I had nothing, guys, before I got my first payout. I had nothing. I lived off of nothing but prop firm payouts for 8 months. I got my first payout October 9th, 2024. I started coaching April of 2025. I had no income, zero coming in from October 9th to April. I lived off of nothing but prop firm payouts. That's it. That's how I paid the bills. That's how I kept my family from going homeless. That's how I paid off a lot of medical debt, was doing that with base hits. You do not need to always catch 100-point move, right? This was a beauty. This is just one of these instances where it just shot up from the entry was 792. This was a 5-point risk trade, guys. Like, this is the stuff that I want to tell you. Like, this is what's nuts, right? We had the levels below. This was a 5-point risk trade that just shot up and pinpointed right to those levels right there. Right? I got sauce box in play here too. Hit that level to the dot. I see this all the freaking time. I know, Quantum Gang, you guys started to see this, especially with Trump. You guys have seen those insane signals for 800-point pushes right now, right? But they're not always going to be there. Am I going to catch that? Probably not. I did catch part of that, though. I did catch a little bit on that on the EVA I was playing with, and I was in the bathroom doing my business when I looked, and it popped up, and I was up like 2,500 in a blink of an eye with 5, 6 micro. I can't remember how many micros I was at. I got out, there was slippage, so it ended up I saw 25, and I ended up only getting like 11 or 12. But it was insane. It's insane. You guys got to see it right now live with me, and this is the stuff that I catch. And again, you will not always catch these, but be okay with it. Be okay. Take what the market gives you. If your runner just took that and launched up there, you just caught a beautiful play. Like, is it always going to give you this? No, but this is freaking amazing, dude. This is amazing. I love when I see stuff like this. And when you guys get to watch it live with me and you see my reactions are always genuine, because it's just always surprising to me how repetitive and how continuous this is. Just beautiful launch right there. Now you want it to hold above 810, right? This is where it could get paused. And then you want it to see if we want to see if it'll continue to retest at 838. All right. Awesome. So it exploded. The move happened already. 5-point risk trade that turned into freaking 50 points almost. The blink of an eye in just a couple minutes. And this is the kind of setups that I will find and I will see, right? Again, my runner would have caught that. I wouldn't have caught that with full cons. My runner would have caught that, and I would be excited, ecstatic for $100, for $200. It wouldn't matter. I used to go to work for 10, 11 hours a day just for $30 an hour for painful, more stress, way more stressful work, right? Especially when you're a manager. If you're somebody that's in charge of people, you're basically babysitting a bunch of adults, right? You're working on their schedule. You're listening to their excuses. They're always getting sick. Like everything's happening. They want more money, but they don't want to come to work. It's like chaotic. It's so stressful. And here I was with the opportunity, right? With 3 micros, 10 points is all you need to make the salary of a person that runs a restaurant. 3 with 10 points. You're making more per hour than just with one trade with 3 micros than the majority of people will ever make going out to work without a degree. 3 micros, 10 points. And we're trying to get rich quick here. Why? Like, you don't need to. You can still make this a career if you have a clear, structured plan. You have the map to the treasure, right? Quantum is that map. Quantum draws the map out for you. Exactly where you're going to see reactions, exactly where you're going to have opportunities, where you're going to have potential rejections. This is the map to the treasure that you're looking for. With whatever strategy you have too. This what's beautiful about this is that it pairs perfectly with everything, right? If you're playing trends, the confirmation of trend is it's just breaking purples, right? If it's trending up, if it's trending down, it's just breaking blues. That's all you're looking for. Right? If you're looking for the market structure, you're looking for the reactions on the levels. Is this level going to hold? Is it going to reject a little bit? Then where is the next point of area that I need it to break? Am I going to hold if it doesn't? No, because again, it pulls up. And if the structure is looking undecided, you play the freaking chop. And it's easy to find the chop when you can see where it gets stuck and you can follow the 1 minute back and forth, back and forth. And I teach you guys that for free. When you subscribe to the indicator, right? You guys get me every freaking week, every Sunday. And I try to make pop-up appearances. We read the news last week. And for those of you who joined me, right, just like what we saw right now, we caught a 100-point live news trade when I did the news read with the group. And it was the exact same setups that we find and we see right here, right now, over and over and over again. So I'm constantly teaching. I'm not stopping. I love doing this. I'm very passionate about this. I know exactly what I have here. I know exactly what you guys can do, because if somebody like me, who's not even close to being technically knowledgeable with the terminology that big ball traders use, right? They're going to use big terms. I'm going to be like, huh? I'm just going to be like, well, I'm just looking for my blues and my purples, and I'm waiting for the levels to tap. That's it. I'm doing BNR, break and retest. I'm waiting for break and that's all I'm doing. And I see my picture, dude. When I see my picture on the wealth charts and I'm literally above David Green or below him, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? And I know what I'm doing here because I'm doing it every freaking day. And you guys can do it too, right? I showed you what I made this year. I've never made that money in half of the year. We're a quarter into the year, and I already made what I used to make in a year doing my other job, just with payouts. Just with payouts. And I don't look for big numbers, guys. I don't. You guys see me, right? I don't try. I do that because I have to protect my things. I came from nothing, and I'm living proof that you can do this for a living, but you have to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're going to struggle. If you don't have control, you're going to struggle, right? And we are here as a community, not just me, right? The whole MOT group, we're here. Live trading for free. Continue education with whatever you decide to get in with every freaking week. nonstop. Where else can you find stuff like that? Where else? Nowhere, guys. And this is amazing. Like we show our charts, you get to see my stuff action in live action, playing out. You're hearing me read the exact same way I read during Power Hour. Nothing changes at all. Okay, and you guys, again, like you guys get to have me every Sunday. Every Sunday. What's up, Doc? Doc scared me right now. Holy crap! Dude, you just came on my screen.
I didn't mean to just like jump in your shit, bro. My bad.
I had like the dog looking at the squirrel kind of reaction. I was like, wait a minute, squirrel!
Bro just looked at me and like screamed. That does not give me confidence about my physical appearance, bro.
Hey guys, I just get so passionate about this, and it's just, I will rant. This is why my sessions go on for hours, because I will go on and on and on because I love this so much. You don't understand how much fun I have doing this.
Javi, I want to just clear up a couple of things. See some questions in the chat. So one of the biggest things that I think you guys have seen the system. Donna demoed it for you, kind of like how we built it. And I get that like it's a little bit of a lot because it's pretty different than most of the other stuff that you see out there. One of the best things about the quantum indicators, what he said, I just want to clarify and make sure everybody understands. Anybody who's a subscriber to the quantum indicator gets into a private group, gets into a group in our Discord. And Javi, how often are you going live with that group and just reading the market, showing them how to use this indicator, showing them what you just did here?
Yep. Every single week. Every single week I'm live on there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you've got a whole group of people. So if this is intriguing, but also like, wow, this is a lot more. Like,
and
you're going to learn it.
I am adding, this is one of the announcements I wanted to make. I am adding a morning pre-market session as well.
Okay,
yes.
Well, just go ahead and just drop it, bro. Just let everybody know. Okay, fine.
So I will be doing one morning session, pre-market session, so you guys can, learn how to read the setups for the potential pre-market open. And I want to be able to go into the quantum chat and break down so you guys will see exactly what I was seeing, right? And this will be early. This will be because, again, I love when my shit lines up with P2P. So you guys will get me for half an hour or 40 minutes, and then you guys can go pop in with Coach and go listen to him and see, okay, if that stuff lines up, and you guys will see how magical it is when you have these confluences line up every single morning, over and over and over again. And I just put up on YouTube, I put up a video of me trading in the morning during New York Open, and gives you a general idea of what I'm looking at. But we're going to be doing it together as well.
I think that's awesome. I think also and for those of you, if you're going to be seeing Javi's content online or whatever, the other really cool thing about the quantum strategy is it's because you can find trades and find opportunities pretty much all the time in any market, depending, as long as you know the structure. Javi's out there on his phone shopping with his kids, and he's like, you know what? The kids are off shopping at Sephora for a little bit. I got 20 minutes. Let me just sit down here, whip out my trifold, and crank out a trade. And I think that's one of the really cool kind of things to think about, especially if you are maybe not available in the New York Open and you're looking for opportunities to trade throughout the market. There's 23 hours a day of the market. And, of all the strategies that are out there, this is one that's going to find you opportunities, good little base hit opportunities all, throughout the market. And what's also really cool, and I think you really saw it. I've watched Javi trade for a long time. And, a lot of his trades are 5, 10, 15-point winners, just little base hits, as he says, get 10 points, risk 5, get 15 points, risk 5, 2 to 1s, 3 to 1s, and he just tracks them up a little bit. But usually when you're going to get a crazy candle like we saw here, it's going in the direction of what he's called. So sometimes you set yourself up for these 2 to 1s, 3 to 1s, and then occasionally you're sitting there right on the right side of a train. And it's a really cool thing. Want to point out once again, Javi's building himself a course to teach his entire strategy here. That is also so there's a wait list that we're putting in the chat. Owen just posted there. We're going to pull some giveaways for some FFF accounts here in a little bit. We're going to pull off that list. Baby. So get on in there, even if you just want a free FFF account. Get on in there. We're going to pull a handful of names from that list when we're doing giveaways. So just want to jump in here again. How to keep rocking and rolling. Give us another 15, 20 minutes, and then I'll sit here and maybe flag some questions for you. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I think I've been ignoring the chat because when I start ranting and we start seeing setups.
The chat. I want you to flow. I want you to flow and do your thing, and then we'll come back here. So, guys, go ahead and load up some questions here in about 15 minutes. We'll do a little Q&A, but I want Javi to keep watching this market because I think my next question is okay, we saw that big crazy candle.
Yeah.
It literally smacked your level, your 5. That's a 5-minute level sitting right there. Should we be targeting, waiting for us to get back to that level and see what reaction is? Like, what's your thought process after a crazy fuck you candle? How do you avoid
Uh-huh.
the FOMO? What do you do?
Yes, that's exactly what's just happening right now is what I do. Right? We built up a level above at 827. Now we have a little bit of a range. Right? This blue did break that purple here, but I'm using this level up here as a main guide. So immediately I'm marking this blue up down here, and it's lined up with my box right now, my sauce box. Let me turn the advanced orb off for now. We are sitting at today's top orb, which just so happens to line up with sauce box as well. So this is what I'm waiting for. I would want to see what it's going to do above that level at 827 or below 818. Below 818, we could see a retest of that 800, the 802. I still have 810 as well that I want to see it potentially retest here. This is the previous break on the 5, the failed bearish move, right? This is a resistance candle that you want to see turn support. If it does break through 811, then you'll see 802. And this is where you would want to see it hold on the 5 if we're going to continue this uptrend. This is where you want to see this hold and then continue to push up. And that's what I'm waiting for right now. So if this breaks under 818, potential push to 810, then 802. I would want this 5-minute level to personally not get hit, because that will show strength on the trend, and it will maybe bounce at 810. But I still like to wait for reaction. And exactly how I read the DOM and things like that, you're going to really, really start to learn to sit on your hands and not get caught in the middle of the chop. Like the top of this right now is 827. The bottom is 818. That's the bottom of it. Until it breaks one side, you don't want to get caught in the middle of 822. If you're in 822, you're right slap dab in the middle. You're going to get toasted one way or the other. There's just no point of sitting on a trade. Or if you're holding onto a runner, right? If you caught that long and you're holding onto a runner, your stop would be if it breaks under 818, if there's a break under 818 on the one that closes below. And then you're going to see that push down. But let's watch this right now. We got the 2-minute curling down, so the 2 minutes trying to potentially form a level as well that might give the push. And the way that I like to visualize this is, again, I gamify things. So I want to see this 2-minute curl down, and it's like you want to see it continue to push the candle down, right? You want to see it just like poke it down. Just keep going, buddy. Keep going down. You want to see it stay below that 825. And what do I have at 825? I have that level at 827. And this is what I want to see for it to continue to break below and then push down to 802. And below 802, then you have 788 if it wants to get further, if it wants to get down there. But if it gets down there, right, that's breaking this 5-minute structure that I'm seeing. And then I would want to look at the higher time frame to see what it's trying to do, right? If like right now the 5-minute looks undecisive, I could take a peek at the 10, right? And the 10 is still uptrending, right? Uptrending. And guess what? We have a couple blues on the 10 here to also hold up, right? Also did break this purple finally here with that big push up. And the top of that is 808. So now this 808 is kind of looking interesting for me. And that's how I do kind of top-down analysis from each time frame, is to get a gauge of what each time frame wants to do. Go back to what the time frames I'm looking for entry and look for the reactions there. So this is where we're stuck. Look, 818 just bounced up to 823. If it pushes further up, right, this will just retest 827. This is your range right now, 818, 827. One side's eventually going to give. There's another blue candle. Right, so I know that there's definitely some strength down here at 818 for now, but we know there's resistance at 827. So there's that push up. It hit what, 825, 826 within a couple points. This is how I eat the chop. I can pretty much identify where the pauses are going to happen, and then what I want to wait for it to happen. I need 827 to break if it's going to push further back up. If it doesn't, we're just stuck in here until 818 or 827 go. This is the roadmap. Again, this is like your map, guys. This is your map to the cheating the market, right? Let's look at gold. All right, gold's doing the same stuff, right? Look at this, right? There's a level up here. Where did it pull up to retest the level? What did the level also give you? Where the downtrend, right? We're downtrending on gold right now. Just made a new lower low, right? You can see where the lower high is going to be, as long as it holds up here. Now, if this is good, it made a new lower low. Now, if it pulls up, where can it retest? 841. If the downtrend is going to continue, you want to see this 840, this 4840 area hold below and push down. And look, right? Look at gold. Same setups. Crossover inside blue, behind, push up. Crossover behind purple. Boom, push down. Exact same setups. Nothing changes. Each time frame gives you deeper moves. Potentially, look where it rejects. Look at those taps on the levels. Look at the new levels getting created. Look at the push down to where? The new levels. What is happening? These levels are holding. Right? Where did this level form? Back here. There's your signal. To the T. You're going to see these setups. Right? Pull down to where? That level. Pull up to where? If we had an area here. Pull down. Now it's building these little steps. Pull up, pull up. Breaking what? The purples. Breaking the purples. Easy continuation up. Boom. Boom, boom. Like, look, it's pulling up. Look at this. Gold is very simple. Gold loves levels. Gold loves what quantum triggers. I was about to give a little bit of chicken away there, but it triggers quantum beautifully, and you get the moves. It's very, very repetitive, right? I've been taking a peek at oil. Right? Here's oil. Same thing. Levels. Holding. A++ setups. Push. Push, 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 push. Same thing. Nothing changes. I love oil. I made a little bit of money on oil. Not gonna lie, I made a little bit of money on oil. But the setups are the same on every time frame. Look at the reactions of the levels. It's the same thing. Nothing changes. The patterns repeat themselves everywhere. And this is why I could trade everything. I could probably trade corn. I haven't gone to corn yet. I keep teasing I'm going to trade corn. And I've dabbled in crypto. I know crypto's kind of on the inside, right? We know crypto's kind of on the It works on crypto too. And eventually, little sneak peek here, I will be trading crypto on the props because there's crypto props now, and I might make some content on that. So, we'll see, guys. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. But I can trade anything. Anything. I'm less excited about corn. I haven't made money off of corn yet, right? I made money off of gold. I made money off of silver. I made money off of oil. I made money off of... what else? YM? No, I haven't made money off of YM. I only traded YM twice. So I can find anything, and I do want to trade. I do want to check out corn. I look at charts, right? Oh, right. I look at things like Tesla. Same thing. Levels, right? Sometimes you'll see these signals, and you'll see the chop. You'll see the exact same thing. Reactions, right? Look at this candle I had marked up. Look where it held. Look where Tesla held today. This guy right here held the 4. You had the level above. You had that purple candle. Could not break above it. You had new ones forming, kept rejecting, kept rejecting, kept rejecting, kept rejecting. It's the same on everything.
Can I interrupt you just a little bit here? Go back to that Tesla chart for a second there. What are we
right
on the 1 minute there, right?
Yep.
So where did that level that we just keep rejecting, where did that first get formed?
That got formed over here at 10:47 in the morning.
Okay, and then how many times did we challenge that level and fail?
1, 2. These got very close.
This whole zone right there.
Yep, this whole zone. Look at this. Boom, 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 boom. It's not going anywhere until it closes above here, then it closes above here. It's just...
And if during it was Tesla, so during the market, if you got that close on a 1 minute, that would be a signal for you to be like, okay, now we're really kind of have eclipsed that level.
There's a potential push up
to the next one.
Exactly, and this began over here, right? You could see, like, even before it begins, you could see where it's going to start. Where it's going to start. You got your blues breaking down. There it is. There's your rejection, rejection, rejection. Not going anywhere until it breaks here. And obviously, eventually, you'll see it where it clearly starts to be resistance by the time it gets to the third touch. But I already have it kind of put up here where it could come down, push up, retest this area, comes down again, retest again. This is like this kind of setup. When I find these areas on NQ, right? There was a power hour show where I was having fun. I think that it was like 77. I remember saying 70. Every time it comes up to 77, I'm going to keep shorting it because it was pulling down 20 points. I can always identify these areas just like this because it's just happening all the freaking time. You could find the chop areas, you could find the resistance areas and support areas to the T before they even start forming, and then you could just play off of them over and over and over again. Once you literally look at this, oh look, it's happening. 18 broke. Now we're getting that push down. Oh look, another A++ on the 2 minute. All right. So now we're going to have the potential push down to 802. So it's the same pattern no matter what stock you're on, no matter what you're looking at. It's the same freaking thing over and over and over again. Support resistance candles, clear direction, clear stop loss points. Look at this. There's 810. Got you at 812. Need to see 810. This is the 810 area right here. Right there's the 810 area. And I want to see what it does there. If it breaks through it, then you have that test of 802, where, right, if we're going to get the flip in structure, this is where you want to see it hold if it does get down here. Either you want to see 810 hold or you want to see 802 hold. Then you want to see the new higher low form and the continuation push to potentially break through that 827 if we're going to be uptrending. But again, you're seeing how slow this is. When ATR is low, volume's not moving, you have to be extra patient and wait for those areas where you're expecting price to react to. And this is your map, right? If it doesn't hit 810 or 802, I'm not interested in anything, right? It hit 812. Didn't get close enough to 810 for me. So now we're already pushing back up. This 2-minute signal would have been what? Like a 3-point risk. And it only gave you 822. It gave you it still almost gave you 10 points for a 3-point risk, 4-point risk. All right, and this is again, just scalp these all day. There's that pull up, the 810 area held, and there's a blue on the one. And then this is all I'm looking at. I'm not looking at any other candles in between. I'm not looking at the greens or the grays, or for you guys it'd be the greens and the reds. I'm only looking at those when they react with the quantum candles. I'm looking at the crossovers on the levels formation, and that's it. I'm just playing supported resistance all day. BNR. BNR is my bread and butter. Break and retest, break and retest. The only setup that's different is the A++ setup, which is the crossover that occurs with the connection to the candle that gives you a potential play opportunity. Entry is the candle closure. You're looking for it to give you at least 1-to-1. You're looking for a break of these areas, right? We just got a retest of where it did break over here. This 820 area. And if this 812, 810 area gives, we still see a potential push to 802. And this is where you're potentially going to get stuck now, would be between 822 and 812. This is where you could potentially get trapped until it breaks one way or the other. And then you could wait for the 5-minute to build its structure to make the next lower high, potentially at 802. 802, maximum I want to see it go down to is 798. And then I would read my DOM and look to see if the DOM is giving me reaction. And that's just going into a lot more that I do go over every Sunday. So how did I know the 810 level? I don't see any lines right here. So the 810, if you look at the 5-minute, right, remember the candles, support and resistance candles, right? These blues and purples, the wicks, right? If this is purple's a bearish candle, the top of that is my resistance zone, the top. Once it breaks 810, I want that 810 to turn into support. And again, when I mark these lines, these I mark manually. That's the top, 810. It's actually technically 810.75 is technically where it's really at. Right? So I just rounded to 810. I'm just looking at 810. And this is what you want to see turn from resistance to support. If it does break below that, the level is next. Below the level, then you have the next candle. Right? You would have the bottom would be here at 98, below 98. This is what that held over here. Actually, there should be no line here. I don't know why that's there. That's just the bottom of the trend. There was nothing there. So yeah. So below 798, potential move back down to the 86 area. So this is where we're stuck. 812, 822. Breaks down below. And then I would wait for the reaction. I would wait for the break and retest. And if I have room, right, I'm not a fan of going against the 5-minute level because personally, I would want to see that level hold. I wouldn't want to see it get tapped. I would want to see it get close to it. I would want to see the action lines curling and then pushing up. But this risk would here, what you would look for, you would play the break and you would play the breaking candle as your stop loss. You could play the swing low as well, 823. But then you're going for a potential 10-point play, which you don't have room for. Look at that, right? That blue bottom blue is holding. It's not going anywhere until it breaks this. It's not going anywhere until it breaks all this up here. Back up. Look at that. Look at that. 812 to 822. There you go. 812 to 822. That's your chop zone. That's where you're going to be ranging until one way gives. Like clockwork. Like clockwork. I love this so much, man. This is just so fun to see it do it over and over and over again. Awesome. Do you only use Quantum or you use it in Confluence? I only use Quantum majority of the time, right? During New York Open, if I'm looking for bigger moves, I do pair it with P2P a lot. I have P2P. I have Advanced Orb. There's two of my personal orbs inside Advanced Orb that I've traded for a very long time. Mine are 5-minute orbs. So there's two of them in there. I do have other ones I use as well. And then any of the other orbs, if they look interesting, if I'm on the charts, I'll plot them in. So I use Advanced Orb a lot as added Confluence. I love Orb. Orb is king. I always have NVG. NVG is always on my chart on SPX because I used it the exact same way. When I'm reading, a little bit of sauce here, guys. When I'm reading SPX and NQ, I can also read what NQ is going to do based on what SPX is reading, just like Max does in the morning show with reactions to the quantum levels or to the quantum candles. The exact same thing. And I could catch easy moves just like he would based on what SPX is doing. So the MVG is the max value gap. That's another one of our indicators, and that one's specifically built for SPX, though you can use it on other ones, but I use it heavily on SPX. It is an amazing, amazing added Confluence. When you pair it up with the quantum crossovers, you can see where the golden MVGs can form, and you get these impulse pushes, and it's always freaking amazing. Right, you guys who've been with me in the morning shows, the quantum sessions in Power Hour, you guys know I preach P2P all the freaking time. I have MVG on my chart all the time. I can use any indicator for added Confluence. That's the beauty, right? I can use any strat for added Confluence. I love to test things. So if somebody tells me that they found a strategy that works with mine, I'm like, oh, tell me about it if you want to. And I would love to check it out because I love to back test. I love to forward test. I like to see how consistent it is. And I will give my 2 cents usually on if it looks as consistent enough for me to use if I were to use it. So things like that I love to do. But this is just the tool you need when you don't know where your stops are going to be, when you don't know how long you should hold, right? If you're playing an uptrend, you can hold an uptrend until a blue starts breaking. You could play the downtrend until a purple starts breaking. There are just so many ways to use it. And the other part I love is I have so many quantum users who made it their own. Like they use their own thing with it. And then they share it. And I freaking love that so much. Taking this
Awesome stuff. I'll take you through some Q&A here, but I have a couple questions for you. Just I'll take that all, and then I'll go through and so a couple of just housekeeping notes. I can tell you only about half of you have actually still signed up for the giveaway. So Owen, spam that chat, please. Get in there. We'll do the Q&As, then we'll run the giveaways. You got to be here for it. So let's get that list up so you guys all get a chance at some free FFF accounts. Javi, this type of trading is a little different than most of us learn, all of the popular strategies, all the other ones we do at MOT, all the ones that are outside on the internet. And I know that you kind of discovered this and kind of figured this out on your own. For somebody who's kind of looking at this and going, this is cool, but a lot. Mm-hmm. What would be what's the entry level quantum? Like what's the one thing I should look at across the levels, the candles, the signals, the crosses, like what's the first hit of quantum that's going to get me hooked?
The easiest setup is literally just playing the quantum candle break and retest. That is the easiest one. It's just repetitive. The structure on these are clear. Your stop losses are clear. You're just looking for a break and a retest. You're looking for break and a retest. Your stop losses, the candles, right? You have your purple candle above. Your breaking candle will usually be a stop loss. Will you get stopped out when it's choppy? Yes, you do. Do I re-enter when it breaks back down below? Yes. I get strat 6 a lot. This is one of my favorite ones to play with, especially when it's not super chop. But you can play these break and retests. You can see how they hold. They're just super clean, very low risk, right? Break and retest. You can see the 800 held 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, right, to push up. This is the easiest one to learn to play first.
And so when you
Learn
say the
to,
quantum candles, those are your purple
yeah,
candles and your blue candles, and you're
yes.
saying the level is the top of the purple and the bottom of the blue,
Yes, and they include the
right?
wicks, right? You have
Including
to
the
wait
wicks.
for the breaks, right? There are times where you're going to get a little bit of bounces, right? You're still fighting blue candles before, so you can tell where the chop is going to be because it's going to be fighting all this. Eventually gives way, gives you a push, right? But each individual time frame has their own candles that you're going to start fighting on the lower time frames, and you could see where it's going to get choppy based on that. You're going to see like, okay, your 2 minute, you have a blue candle all the way down here. You got a purple all the way up here at 825. My 1 minute is bouncing around between those two areas, right? Between 812 and then all the way up here at 825. 825. That's where you're bouncing around. And you can see that same thing on the 5. And that's just the first thing I would advise everyone is to learn how to just watch the candles, watch the reactions on them, understand how to enter the breaks and the retests, and that's it. That's the easiest. And I have
Start there.
examples of this in the channel pinned in there with exact entry points, exact stop loss points with arrows and drawings, and I go over this every single week. We play the setup. Sometimes if the market's moving, I will read the market, and I'll tell you guys what I'm potentially seeing could happen, and if I would
Nice.
potentially enter the trade or not. Right? Not financial advice stuff, but I
Yeah.
do stuff like that during our sessions, and it's every Sunday night. That one's written in stone after the happy hour show, and then I do. I already announced that I'm going to be doing a pre-market as well once a week. The days might vary for now because again I have a schedule where I take my daughter to school, but at least once a week I will be doing a little pre-market for everybody.
Nice, nice. But I think the key point is that because I know that like I see some people in the chat who are like, "This is cool," but like because there's not a lot of other places you can go to get context for this. So sitting in one free webinar is probably not necessarily some people might be like, "I'm intrigued, but I don't know how to get started." So what you're saying is clear the deck. Purple candles and blue candles, play the break and retest of
Yes.
those levels. That gets you cooked. That gets you cooked. And the other thing, key, if you are one of those people and you're sort of intrigued and you're sort of sitting there going like, I like this, I believe, I see the success of it, maybe a little much. That's why Javi does this once a week. That's why Javi
Yeah.
gets up, talks to these people, answer those questions, and of course, there's an entire group chat. So even when Javi's not available, people are, the folks who've been using it for a while can help you out as well. That's one of the things we
Oh
always
yeah.
do here at MOT is support everybody who's using these products and stuff like that. So really, really cool. I want to go through some of the there's some questions just to kind of clear up that I want to kind of go through. Give everybody about 5-10 minutes or so. We'll go through some Q&A, get on that giveaway list, and we'll start running those giveaways. So just want to let you know the time is running out. You need to be here
Yeah.
sitting and announce yourself in the chat if your name gets called, just so you guys know what's cooking. So let me go through some question. So I hear you say this a lot and going way back up here. So I'm not sure exactly when this was in the market, but you say like, I want it to stay at this 802 level for it still to be bullish. Like I
Yeah.
want this level to hold. You kind of have this, like, I want it to, can you just talk us through the why behind like, you're kind of looking through that like that?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's that sauce. This is sauce I keep to myself. This is the first time
Well, don't
I've
let me
really
make you
fully
spill
shared this.
sauce.
No, no,
Don't
no.
let me
This
make
is
you spill
something.
it. I mean, we got a
This
course for
is
this, but I'm just saying like,
Yeah, no, but this is something that is just basic market structure, right? We all play market structure, right? We all talk about it. It's funny to us, right? But I look for where my map is telling me the market structure is going to go. So what I'm looking at, right, is if this does pull down right now, it held 810 beautifully already, right? But if this is going to curl down and come down below and it gets to 802, I want this to hold. Why? Because if this uptrend is going to continue and I want to see a higher low, I want the higher low to be around 802. And that's very simple for me. So my stop loss could be one of two things. If I'm playing a higher time frame area, my stop loss will either be the break of this blue candle or that swing low. Just understanding that if I want to make a higher high, there's chance for this to bounce here and contest all the way up to 138. And it's that
and so that
simple.
trade right there is a really nice RR. I mean, if you're taking the bottom of that blue candle as
Yeah.
your stop, that's what I can't even tell what like that's just a few points, but
Yeah,
your
802
potential,
to 98.
yeah, it's like 5 points, right?
Hmm.
Like, and even if you go to the bottom of the swing, you're looking at 11, 12, 13 points, and you're hoping for. So yeah, I mean, 2-1, 3-1 potential opportunity there. So
Yeah.
you're looking at those levels, going, "Hey, that has the real potential to be a potential lower high or a potential higher low. I really like the opportunity to get into that high RR trade off this level. So I kind of want it to hold. I want to see
Yes.
that reaction, so I get what I want, basically." That's
Exactly.
so, because I think people get confused. They hear you say, "I want this to happen," and I think a lot of
Hmm.
times we're all trained to be like, "Well, we're not supposed to want things. We're supposed to just see the react." But but that's what you mean. You mean is like, I'm reading this. We're in a macro
Yep.
uptrend. We're in a higher time frame uptrend. This is where I would predict that this next opportunity for the best trade is going to come in. That's that sort of pullback that we like on those running trends. So that's what, when you guys hear Steve Quantum say, "I want this," that's really what he's talking about. And then
Yeah.
you're
So
also very much like, if it doesn't hold, if it would come down here and that level breaks, you're not, confirmations aren't going to fire, and you're not going to take the trade. You're not going to get smoked anyways, right?
yeah, exactly. And this is like, I look for that because this is the part of being patient, right? If the up move, right, we already saw a big ass up push, right? What's expected after a big up push? A pullback. So I'm expecting it to get there. Will it get there? No, there's no guarantee. I want it to get there. If it gets there, great. That's my opportunity. And that's what I'm waiting for. And that's the part that this will help you be patient and wait. You don't want to get caught in the middle. You don't want to get caught in the middle. I want to get caught. I want to catch the retests. I want to catch where the higher low is going to be, where the lower high is going to be. I can patiently wait. If it gives it to me, great. If it doesn't, I didn't get a trade. It's that simple. Could it keep pumping? Yes, it absolutely could. But when I say I want it to, is because I know I have a guide here where I want to see retest. So the majority of the time, right, when I'm liking a long, I want to see it do what first? I want to see it retest an area. So then we wait for the retest, right? You'll hear me say this during power. I want it to come down and retest this area, and then that's where I want to enter. And then what happens? It retests, I enter, and there's almost no pullback, because that's literally the bottom of the new swing high or swing low.
Yeah.
I catch those more times than none with just reading market structure and knowing where it's potentially going to go to. And that's where I can find these insanely low risk potential entry trades. And it's just waiting for them. There's times where it won't get there for a while, right? Look, we're still pushing, right? Look, what's our 1 and 2 doing, right? We're breaking through that level now, 827. Right? 810 held, 812 held. Now we're breaking through 827. What are my action lines telling me, right? My 2 minutes trying to curl up another blue candle here, right? You can see the stepping ladder being built on the 2 minute. The 810 held, giving you these little steps to pull up, to hold, right? We broke the purple candle over here, guys. Look at this, right? Exactly the support and resistance. This is just clean support and resistance play right here on the 2 minute. What did it do? The 2 minute broke above 820. What did it do? It started to hold above 820 over and over. And then we got your push. Now we have the break of 828, that level 827. Now I want to see this 827 area hold. And if this 827 area can hold, then you may see that push up. Or if it doesn't, guess what? If it doesn't, it's just going to re-enter the range. So there's the retest of 827 to the T. There's your 3 little point push up. It's not pushing up much. There's not that much ATR right now. But this is all this is. Repetitive over and over again. There we go. Look. Break and retest. And you want to see how far the push can go. Now we could potentially see that tap to 830. Look at that.
Cool.
There it goes. Boom. Like that. Clockwork. Clockwork. And guess what? I actually caught this one.
Javi, we're teaching. Are you trading? Are you trading and teaching? You.
Yeah, like I actually caught that one. Look at that.
I'm not going to trade through this because I got to run the Zoom call thing, and and then it's like, oh, let me just go catch this. You're teaching.
Can you guys see it, right?
Yeah, we got you. 13.
Yeah, like that. Like clockwork. This is what I do. It's on replay. It's doing it over and over and over again. And it's fun as hell. This is how I gamified the system to make it fun for me. I don't get scared when I enter a trade. I let it do whatever. If it takes me out, it takes me out. I'm okay with it because I know there's going to be another setup later. And usually later is just a few minutes. I get multiple setups within an hour. I trade all my accounts separately. I don't copy trade. That's a me thing. You guys do whatever you want. That's just something for me because I know, right? You got to learn what makes you go tilt. What makes me go tilt is losing, right? And if I lose one trade times 5, it's going to set me off. And I'm going to be like, no, I need to make that $700 back, even though it was just spread out and I lost 100. But that's just me. That's a me thing, and I need to learn how to control that, and that's my way of controlling it. And I can have my fun. The beauty is like, right, if my wife is watching a show, my kids are playing, I'm sitting there, I don't play video games anymore. This is my video game now. I have always have an account to trade. I always have an account to trade. The beauty about this game is that I also get paid from it. I get paid from playing this repetitive,
Crazy.
on repeat game over and over again.
Next question I'm pulling from the chat, and I think this you always talk about crossovers happening before and after. You want the crossover for your best setup. You want the crossover to happen before the candle. Is that correct?
Yes, for the A plus pluses, you want them to happen before. When they occur in front, the move's already in progress. See, the crossover happened in front. That was the impulse push. That was the push right there that we saw. Cross occurred, locked in, push. Now you want to see that level hold, right? Look over here on this 1 minute chart, right? Look at this beautiful hold of this 819 level. It tapped 1, 2, 3, 4, then pushed up, then gave you the break of that 825, the push up. It's just the same things that you're looking at over and over again. Like the crossovers occurring in front form your levels. So then you want to see that level hold if you're going to play that. I don't like to enter those in terms of an A++ when it's already closed and already pushing. I want to enter it when it's within the body and if I have other confluences lined up with it. But right now, right, this is still uptrending on the 5. We're trying to make a new higher high if we can break that 838. But right now, it paused right there at that level again.
All right. Sorry, I'm just looking at questions here, scrolling here. Just keep just checking in, guys. Make sure you guys are logging in for the that link for the giveaways here.
Question.
Definitely want you to. If you got one, go ahead. I'm scrolling through way back.
The best time frames, the ones that I traded before I added the 2. The 2 is a new addition. The 2 is like, because the trifectas are a thing for me now. When the 1, the 2, and the 5 line up, it leads to really good potential continuation plays. But the 1 and the 5 were always the 2 that I used. The 5 is the important trend for me, right? I'm looking at the 5 structure the most. And then I'm going to base my 1 minute entry points off of what the 5 minute is doing. If the 5 minutes trending up, I'm looking for purple candle breaks. If the 5 minute is trending down, I'm looking for blue candle breaks. If the 5 minute is ranging, I'm going to watch my 1 minute lines react at the tops and the bottoms of those 5 minute blues. So those were the 2 time frames I mainly focused on. The 2 minutes in addition, that one really, like when you get really super choppy, I do recommend looking at the 2 because you can use the 2 to really identify why the 1 and the 5 are like everywhere. And the 2 will kind of give you another added little piece. But the 1 and the 5 were the main ones I used for the longest time.
So that's good that you mentioned that because the next question says when you say break, purple or a blue candle, are you looking for a full close? Are you looking for as soon as we've crossed that level, close, body close, wick? Talk to me about like what confirms a break for you when you're talking about these levels. Since this is sort of the entry level of quantum.
Yes, it's the candle closures. Candle closures. You want candle closure, retest, push.
Got it.
You want
Just
this
like
area
what we're
to
looking at
hold.
right there, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you're getting the retest of that area again. You have another purple candle built up here, right? So you can see where the next little barrier is going to be between here. If it breaks below that 825, you're retesting that 819. And these are your little areas where you can see the pushback to go to, and then you can see where the potential higher low is going to be if this is going to continue to uptrend. You do not want to see the blues or the levels break if you're going to play another right bounce. Like, well, this is like why I scalp the way I scalp, right? Somebody could be holding onto a trade for like 50 points while I caught this for 50 points, caught this for 20 points, 10 points, 20 points, whatever, collecting along the way, and I collected like 100 points while somebody's just waiting for one whole big move and in a longer period of time. Obviously this was a beautiful push up, but in between there's other moves. If somebody's holding on to one trade for another push above 38 to maybe 67, right? That's a 50, that's 50, 92, that's a 70 point move. I already collected the 70 points inside here with that one push up and then playing inside. So that's the beauty. Like I can be done with multiple counts very fast in a short period of time. And I'm going to be here to teach everyone how to do this in the quantum study sessions every day or every Sunday. So
So is the indicator one and done? Like, is it basically out of the box? Is it rocking? Do you need some
Yes.
configuration? Obviously, do you have some like your prime settings? Is that put pin somewhere? Like, what am I getting when straight out of the box?
Yep, it's already set up to the settings I use. The only thing you're gonna have to modify is how you want your levels to look. So when you come in here, you're gonna see your toggle time frames, right? I have my dashed lines on my 1 minute. I have to, all right, on my 1 minute, right? This is how I would have it. I have to change because I re-added it. So my 2 would be 2, the 1 would be 1. So this is how I would have it. I would have the 2 minute be dotted, and the 5 minutes are going to be solid for me. And this is just how I visually learned it because the 1 and the 5 were the two levels I saw for the longest time. Now right, you can do it however you want. You can make your 1 minute dotted, your 2 minute dash, and your 5 minute solid just going from highest to low, right? Which is going to be the weakest level to the strongest level. The 1 minute will technically be the weakest. The 2 will be stronger than the 1. The 5 is the strongest. You could play up to 15 and 30 minute levels, but just understand that if you do those higher time frames, the wicks that bleed through could be deep because they will need to close below. So if you're waiting for a candle test on a 15 minute, right, you have a whole 15 minutes for that candle to test that whole area and then end up closing below. So that's why the higher time frames are a little more dangerous because they require a lot more risk and a lot more patience. But it's the same rule. But anything you guys want to add levels, you can definitely, right on my 5 minute, I have the 15 minute levels in play, right? I'm looking at the 5 and the 15 here. If any are nearby, you're going to see the dotted lines or the dashed lines on my 5. And those are just kind of to look at, a little extra area to look at if I'm seeing a potential reactionary zone. And that's just something that I'm just eyeing. I don't use 15 minute levels. I use 1, 2, and 5. And that is it.
It's awesome. A few times I've heard you say, and we actually looked at that, I think, like on that Tesla look at, and even a couple of these levels, kind of like sometimes a price is going to get close enough to the level, it gets really close. Do you have any rules for like what's close enough, or do you need it to challenge a
Yeah.
level to fully kind of engage your setup? Like,
Yes, that's a great
yeah,
question. That's actually a really great question. Yeah, for like 5 minute levels, I personally
good
wouldn't
job,
want to see it this
Fortuna.
close.
Fortuna Eczema at Elia. That's who asked that. So good job,
Ah,
Fortuna.
yeah. So it depends on the level. The 1 minute or 2 minute levels, I'm going to expect it to touch. They're the weaker of the levels, right? But I want to see the levels hold, meaning the candles not break through and not continue. Now, the 5 minute levels, preferably, I would not want to see them get contested because if it's going to be a strong level, it won't get touched until there's real volume or a real push, usually like in New York or something like that. During Asia, right? Personally, if this 802 gets hit, that'll show a little bit of weakness to it. I'm still would expect it to hold because this will be the structure point for the 5 minute. If the 5 minute's going to make a higher low, this is where I want to see it maximum go to, but I would preferably not want to see it really get all the way down there. So for like something, if I'm playing off the 5 minute, this is where higher risk comes into play and patience, right? I would want to see it hold 810 still, but if it breaks 810, knowing that it could go to 802 and maybe beginning an entry of 1 micro at 810 or 2 micros, but I'm expecting a bigger move on the 5 minute and then maybe add into 802. But I know if it breaks underneath the 802, I'll be out of it. And I'm not going to size heavy. So that's why I would begin with like 1 micro, work my way to 3, and then watch what it does as it approaches. So here we go back down to 810 area. We're at 820 right now. And you can see like the same thing, right? Levels formed in. You could see this little signal that popped on. The candle could not close above the purples. Right back down, bleeding through. Right, you have this 825, right, was the previous break, bleeding through now to 820. I think I was talking about that earlier too. Right, now you're seeing that 820 area with a nice wick up potentially to hold if this pulls back up, and then we can see the potential we could see the continuation up if this breaks this 830 area. But this is the area on the 1 minute where you want to see it hold. If you're looking at 1 minute structure, if you're looking at 5 minute structure, you can go all the way down to 810, 802.
I saw this question way back, but I think it just sort of seeing what that candle just did. I've noticed a lot of these levels, obviously, like even that big huge candle we saw early in the webinar that came and literally just touched the level and then literally reacted heavily back. Um,
Yeah.
do you ever use limit orders with this to kind of like
No.
capture those things? You're always market orders.
No, I don't because I want to watch. I use the DOM. So if you guys are familiar with the Super DOM, I like to look at the DOM for the reaction. So the DOM will tell me when it approaches the level if the DOM, when I say the DOM's going crazy, there's a speed up in the DOM. So you're going to see a stagnant movement. It's going to be very, very fluid. And then when you hit an area, you're going to see the pickup of volume, and you're going to see it start to pace up, to start to speed up. And usually, like when I say the DOM's going crazy, it's getting really jerky. Like it goes down, pulls up really hard, goes down, pulls up really hard. And that's that reaction I'm usually looking for at key areas that I'm expecting to hold or to reject. So I don't like to have market orders like preset there, because I want to watch the reaction there. And I do this with my live accounts too. Like that's the thing with the live accounts, right? The live accounts move the exact same way. And I hate personally to have the histogram up where you see the order book in there. I personally don't like to have that up, because more time than none, you're going to see a big order disappear when it approaches it. You're going to get not faked out. I would say you get scared when you're looking at live accounts and you're seeing those big numbers, big contracts in areas. And I completely remove them, because I'm only looking at the levels and the reactions the exact same way. And you're going to see the exact same reactions. So with like a live account, I want people to understand, right? Like, we are a fraction of the money that's in there. We're not going to have full sway. Just because we entered 5 micros, they're not going to go and hunt our 5 micros. So it's the exact same thing no matter what you're doing it with.
This is a really interesting question, I think, but I think we all kind of want to know the answer to this question. Do you need 2 pairs of underwear to hold your big ass balls?
Actually, no.
No.
I need what do you call those metal things? The chastity belts. That's the only thing that holds my balls up.
Codpiece?
Has to be
Armored
metal.
Codpiece, perhaps?
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta have that lock
Got it.
on.
Yeah.
Wife
Got
has a
it.
key.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Yep.
Very nice. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through, trying to get. So we've talked about it. You've got your purple and blue horizontal lines. Are you you're just marking out your quantum levels? That's you
Yes.
manually marking out your quantum levels, right?
Yeah,
This is the bottom of the blues over there.
This is something I started to recently do for everyone visually, because I don't do this. I can already remember areas just where I see the price action go.
Yeah.
So I started doing this for everyone to visually see it with me. This is something we're also working potentially. We're working on some really good updates to have the option, and we're seeing how it's going to work, because it's going to get technical. Quantum's already a pretty technical indicator, but we want to give people the option to pick and choose the strategies they want to look at. Right. So if you want to see the A++, you could click the A++ strat to show up. If you just want to play the quantum breaks, you'll have just the quantum levels show up, or you could play just levels. You'll have the quantum levels and the candle levels show up. So we're trying to work that in. We're trying to figure that out. Hopefully we can do it. Owen's a mad genius, so I kind of think he can. So we're working on that, because to be able to separate the strategies, because there's multiple strategies to play in the quantum shift strategy, which is why I do the sessions, and you can see a bunch of educational stuff on my YouTube channel on it that I do all the time, but it's repetitive information. But it's cool to see it with current price action and just the repetitiveness of it.
Nice. Well, question, have you ever taken this and put this on like the higher time frames for like swing trading? Like somebody's asking about 4-hour chart, daily chart, to sort of see, I mean, the same rules apply. And maybe, looking at this for like even like options to like, pull some moves.
Yeah, so same rules usually apply. You'll have your action lines, you'll have your candle breaks, you'll see the holds, right? Again, higher time frames, more patience, right? This is the 45 minute. You see the 45-minute range over here was ugly, but it's usually the same thing. I hate that the lines show up on every single time frame. But you're going to see clean setups like this, right? This is a rule I have in play, right? I don't like playing gaps. I don't like playing big impulse candles. Like this is a humongous 1-hour candle. They could give you a push down. But then I like these little small ones that you'll see. All right, this is the hourly. I'm not a swing trader, but you'll see the same thing, breaks purples. You'll see how rare they form on the higher time frames. But as soon as they break, they go. They break, you see where it holds. Right? Gave you the break, gave you the whole retest, gave you another break, gave you a whole push. All right? Each time frame, the setups tend to be the same. I don't play these higher time frames personally because I'm just not patient enough. Right? But you can see the same exact thing. Right? Look at that, right? Look at this that broke right here. Look what kept holding, kept closing above. It's the exact same thing. Like nothing changes. We could go to each higher time frame, the daily. All right. This should have triggered actually down here. You can see the stop loss line right down here. There's your stop loss line. There's your push. There's a bunch of lines right now, right? Here's another one. Push down. Here's another one. Push down. So there's plenty of examples here. Right, here's another one. This is the daily. If anybody's patient enough for these, you have nice moves here. Got a lot of old lines marked up. Here's another one. Crossover inside of blue. There's your push up. There's your break of your purple. There's your push up. All right, you're going to see the same thing over and over again. Where was this one? Hold on. Oh, this was a while ago, I think. I got so many lines on here right now. There was one. I remember Max talking about Wolf getting into a short, and Quantum saw it too, but I can't remember where it was. Where he got in, and he got in clean, and I think it was Logan that showed me it. I think it might have been this one right here in July of 2024.
Well, you're looking for that. You look for that. I've seen a couple of repetitive questions, so I'll just for maybe some
Yeah,
new
I
folks.
think it was this one
Folks,
right
if
here.
you have a prop firm account with FFF, you do not have to pay for your data on TradingView. So or Wealth Charts, whatever you're using. Wealth Charts. If you
Yeah.
have a prop firm account with FFF, you're going to basically use that account to log into your TradeAvate account. You're going to use that on TradingView. You're going to use that on Wealth Charts. So I just see that kind of constant. Now you do need for TradingView, you might need a small. Do you need the premium to be able to add the indicator? Or if you only use one indicator, you can use that on the free version.
Yeah, you can
But you
have
only
I
need
think
premium
up
if you want to have a
to
couple going, right?
you can have up to 2 indicators on the free one if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, yeah. So if
Yeah.
you want to just go free TradingView and just get this, there's a
Yeah.
small limit to the amount of indicators you can have on your screen at one time and free, but you can definitely get at least one or two. So TradingView is
Yes.
free. Then TradeAvate, if you're trading on TradeAvate or Wealth Charts, you get it. And then if you do this on the website, you're going to get access to both platforms. So you can mess around if you want to mess around with Wealth Charts a little bit. Get back on TradingView. One subscription gets both. Sorry, I'm just going through. So I saw another person confused that they want to enter the trade again. Entry level quantum, take the break and the retest of the top of the purple candles and the bottom of the blue candles, right?
Yeah.
So those basically give you
Those
some
are the
short-term
easiest
levels.
ones.
Yeah.
Yep, those are the
Start
easiest
there.
ones.
Ignore everything
Yep.
else. Pull the rest of it off your chart and just look at those levels.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
Um, Quick little psych thing. One of the things that actually I am really impressed with your ability to do this on the all day and short, which is generally against some of the general knowledge of trading psychology, right? Is like try to
Yeah.
trade less, try to pick your spots, but you're kind of the opposite. How did you train your brain to be disciplined enough to be able to overcome losing a trade? I'm sure you get 3-4 in a row that stop you out just because that happens.
Yep.
But I mean, you just kind of keep coming back, and I mean, I've seen your win rate over and over and over again. You're in the high 70s, sometimes in the low 80s, but I think most of us, the more we trade, the more we fuck up. And you seem to have like a real just sort of like throw fastballs over the plate, throw fastballs over the plate, throw fastballs over the plate all day, every day. How did you kind of train your mind to just see this game and be disciplined and only do what your system tells you to do this quick and this much every day?
That's very simple. I just wait. I'm very patient. I have those rules in place. The three strikes per account really help me to be patient, right? I'm usually not going to take 3 strikes in the same area. If I do strike out 3 times, it's going to be in different setups. If I do play like an eval the same area twice, then that 2 strikes, I know not to play it a third time, because now I'm like, is it going to be worth me taking 3 losses in the same area? At that point, it's not. Usually when you're surrounded by levels, right? You will see this a lot in pre-market, right before open, any market open, you're going to see it start to get surrounded by levels. That will tell me to just sit on my hands. I want to see it open up. I want to see there be room for it to go in a direction. So those are the things that help me really sit on my hands a lot, right? I can trade a lot. Do I trade a lot? Personally, honestly, no, I don't trade that much. Each account takes 4 to 5 trades. The numbers you're going to see are going to be inflated because I trade micros. Like I have accounts that I literally took 1 trade in with 6 micros, and it says I took 24 trades. And it's just the way that I trail him, the way that I move him around. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? So be careful with how those numbers are inflated. I usually trade anywhere from 6 to 8 accounts a day. Sometimes when I have fun, a little bit more. So each account can vary. And again, I spread them out. Usually I trade 3 of them, 4 of them during Asia, then the next 4 in the morning during New York. And if I'm bored, I have fun with a couple others. But I have those hard rules in play. The 3 strikes, I'm out. Following my stop losses, right? Looking for those retest areas with low potential risk that will keep my accounts alive for as long as possible, because that's the way that I train my brain to be in survival mode when I need it to be. I had no money coming in. I could not afford to blow accounts and reload them. I could not afford that. So I needed them to stay alive, and I followed my rules and my stop losses to the T. And what if you guys ever want, you guys join Quantum, you'll see my exact sizing. I talk about it in every session, my exact sizing per risk. It takes me 15 plus losses in a row to blow a 50K account. I'm not going to lose that many times in a row. It's just not possible for me to do that unless I'm being full blown degen and YOLOing, which I do sometimes for fun.
Yeah, I think this, but it's interesting because like I see a couple questions with like, how do I use the quantum but still not overtrade? I think there's a little bit of like for somebody who's just like, yeah, there's trades all day. These levels are,
Yeah,
we've watched probably six legitimate possible trades in the 2 hour webinar that we've had here, like six
exactly.
potential setups, 2 or 3 that
Hmm.
were really solid. You know, how do you like suggest to people like kind of get into this but still avoid that sort of like overtrading? Like
Yeah, I actually have an account type, and again, this is a prop that I'm testing, so I won't name them. We're not affiliated with them, but they have certain rules in play where I can only trade holding a certain amount of time. And my average trading time is way less than what that wants. So I've been only using that account with 5 minute setups with confluences on my sauce box. So those are the 5 minute setups tend to lead to the biggest pushes. But again, you have to have patience, which I normally don't have, and you have to be okay with a little bit more risk involved. And those are those higher time frame setups that take a little extra time to work towards. But if you're patient enough and you're just looking for a nice one-time solid trade to take per day, it's wait for those 5 minute setups. That's
nice.
what that's what I tend
Um,
to do with those.
I see people asking what is Saucebox. Saucebox is something that like Javi's another part of Javi's strategy. It's a big part of this. We're not going through all of that today.
Yes.
But I mean, I know anybody put the word sauce in the chat if you know what Saucebox is and you know that how to use it. And it's something that maybe some people should learn if they sign up for get on the waiting list because I'm sure you're going to talk a lot about Saucebox in your course.
Yes.
So
Yes. There's
yeah,
going to be
yeah,
a lot.
Saucebox.
And
You know, one of the things that I think is super interesting about what Javi's done, and as he's building out the course, I love kind of learning about this. Is sort of like, you know, there's lots of ways to look at levels on the chart, and there's lots of ways to play them, and there's lots of
yeah,
different strategies that get you there. And what Javi's really done is sort of like go
for
behind
those
the
sneak
scenes a little bit,
peeks.
really dig into
Thanks,
the
bro.
back testing to find sort of some of these levels and some of these reaction zones that are maybe a little like less popular, but really are very, very strong. And I think we've just seen it already that like, I mean, a lot of these levels, well, if you were doing a traditional support and resistance, or if you were doing, Fibonacci
Nice
retracement
opening.
or any of these other like things, which are all really valid strategies depending on how you want to trade, those levels are
Yeah.
going to line up a little differently than these, but these you can see all day over and over and over again for
Yeah.
these sort of short little impulse 10, 15 point moves. They show up all day and all night.
Yep.
It's like
Yeah.
how he's got X-ray vision and he sort of slipped through the market and was like, this level goes here, and now he's giving it to you. So I'm
Yeah.
going to give
And
everybody. I'm going to call a 2 minute warning on the final list for the
here it is.
giveaways. So because I don't want to keep anybody here too much later. So I'm going to call 2 minutes and then I'm going to lock the list. So hop into that wait list. All that is a wait list. Javi's just developing the full course right now. Owen just put that link in the chat. And Javi's developing a full course that's going to include walking everybody through all of this, all of the other parts of his strategy that let him do what he's doing, a ton of psychology, all of his risk parameters, all of his sizing, all of the ways he enters and exits beyond
Yeah.
just the levels that he's given you today, plus sauce
Exactly how
box,
I use the Dom.
plus how we, and the Dom. I mean, the Dom, I mean, if you've ever watched Javi trade, the Dom is a very, very, very key part of his confirmation process. And so that's all stuff he's going to teach you and walk you through. And I think you got a lot of students in here, and I think everybody here knows who's either had coaching with Javi or just watched him on the show or been part of the group. Javi is not going to leave any students behind, and anybody who gets in there is gonna bring all this home. So give it
Absolutely.
another minute or so, and then I will get the final list, and then we'll have a little fun. I did a little fun thing for us. There's 420, and I figured people might be in a tiny little bit of an altered state of mind. I kind of have like a stupid little animated giveaway thing that we can do to have some fun to do the giveaway. So give everybody another minute or so. Javi, I just want to say thanks again for giving us 2 hours of your time for
Oh,
free
two
to the
hours? No
public
way. Wow.
to talk about all this stuff. While we're doing this, everybody give me an LFG in the chat for Javi. If you learned something today, if you think this is something that you're going to do, even if you're like not going to go get the indicator today, if you learned something, if you saw a different way to approach the market, if you saw something you said, that really intrigued you. The other thing that I think you should say is, I knew Javi, the mastermind, original mastermind. Javi is 18, 19 months into this journey, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
biggest thing, more than
It's
anything
crazy.
else, I want everybody in this audience to take away, wherever you are in your trading journey or trading journal, in your trading journey, is you can do it.
Yes.
Javi's like literally living proof that you can do it.
You can
It's not
absolutely do it.
easy. I will tell you that Javi isn't doing it. He didn't just roll out of bed and do it. Look at what he's freaking put his brain to figure out. I mean, look at it. But you can do it. So beyond all the technical stuff, beyond the quantum, beyond the indicators, beyond the course, beyond FFF, beyond the levels, you should take away from this webinar that this is a man who 18 months ago was like, I have to figure out a new way to make some money. Lots of life things thrown his way. At 18 months now, he's sitting here, can basically just pull money out of the markets 23 hours a day if he wants to, because he can trade throughout any session. And I just think that's something. I always like to hype Javi up, but I think that's what I want you to take away more than anything else.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so by the way, yes, we are recording this. We'll put up on YouTube. Give us a couple days to pull the recording down from Zoom and trim out any bullshit, and especially like me not being able to turn off the freaking annotator. We're definitely going to trim that out, and keep going. Let me get the final. See if I got a final list of names. Good, we got almost everybody in here. Nice job, everybody.
Yeah. Well, we need the indicator out to take after taking the course. Quantum is the main strategy that I use. So I want to make that clear, right? The course, I will break down a lot about Saucebox, intraday Saucebox. I made over 50K in gold in November and December just playing intraday Saucebox. Gold is stupid easy for me. I make a good amount just trading that. Sometimes I show it off, sometimes I don't. There's other strategies that I've used that led up to the Saucebox that lead to my biggest trades. Right? I catch multiple 100-point trades because of those setups, waiting for them. Pair them up with other strats if you want, right? But the Saucebox strat is a separate strategy that is stupid simple when you get to really like learn about it, but it's fun as hell. Like there's a lot more in candlestick structures that I play that add extra confluences. So there's a lot in there. But quantum, you guys can go check out my YouTube channel. Everything about quantum's in there, and that's up to you guys. Up to you guys what you want to do. Like I'm here for you, baby. Like I'm here with the quantum. I'm gonna be here with the courses. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. I want y'all to succeed. I want everyone to get a taste of what I have because I know you can do it. I know you can do it. But remember, it's you versus you. It's you. Like all your doubt, all your errors are up here, because if you don't have a stop loss, that's a you thing. If you DCA into oblivion, that's a you thing. If you're sizing up, that's a you thing. Like you have to learn to control yourself. And I'm gonna be insanely involved. It's gonna be fun, man. I'm so excited. So excited about this year. Like it's crazy. I did not, and you know what's funny, right? Because the exact same way I do my routine, when I first got my first payouts for that first 2 months, I had no idea how much I make. I don't pay attention to how much I make, which is why I don't flex a whole lot, because I genuinely don't know. I just do my routine. I request payouts every other day, I didn't know I made in just those 5 accounts over 60,000, and I have other accounts that I trade. I have 10 different props that I trade with, 10 that are not included in that 60K. Just doing what I'm doing, and I don't keep up with those numbers. I added those numbers up literally 3 hours ago, and I hate flexing big numbers,
All right.
but you can do it. But you can do it.
All right, guys, a lot of fun. Almost 2.5 hours. We're gonna wrap it up. Javi, really just want to say, hold on, let me stop sharing because I'm sick of staring at fucking goat's ass over here. Um,
That was fun as
really,
hell, man.
really appreciate you walking us through all this stuff, man. Can I get the biggest and fastest LFG chain in the chat for Javi for giving us all this sauce? If you are a subscriber to Quantum and you are not sitting in here and getting in on Javi's sessions, if you are new, if you got the indicator for the first time, we don't just sell you an indicator and then have you just go home. Every Sunday, he's told you. He's walking his group through it. If you are a subscriber to the indicator, there's no extra charge for that. He's going to walk you through the setups. He's going to trade with you. He's going to answer
Yeah.
your questions. He talked to you about the entry level version of it, how to start with just basically looking at the levels in the blue and the purple candles, and then as you grow, you can start to see some of the other elements and how how all that works. So really, I know that it looks like a lot, but it really works. And Javi is there to teach everybody and make sure that everybody's using it. If you're excited about going further with Javi and Javi's education, get them. If you were waiting for this race, you're on the wait list. Check your emails. Maybe double check those emails and every now and then check into your spam because sometimes these emails go into spam. When we have the course released, the people on the wait list will be the first to know. If it's a limited opportunity, you will be the first to have an opportunity to get into it. So make sure that you get on the wait list so that you're up to date on everything that Javi has to share with you. Check out my boy Javi on the Power Hour. Check out all the shows we have on the Max Options Trading Network. We have a lot of cool stuff coming, always running around. This is how we do it. We entertain, we trade, we have fun, we teach, we try to get everybody cooking on the markets. Javi, give me some last words.
Guys, girls, thank you so much for spending your Monday 420 evening with me. It was a pleasure. Please, guys, go follow me on the socials, Instagram, YouTube. Got a lot of educational stuff on YouTube. A lot of it's the same information you got right here, right now. It's insanely repetitive, right? It feels like a lot because this is very unique. This is a complete unique system. A lot of people have trouble disconnecting from the old things or other things. And when you start seeing everything play out with this, like it retests at 810 area again, right? You can see where it's going to go. Make sure you guys go check out the Max Options trading site. You guys, anything you guys spend in there, you get max bucks and you get to use the max bucks on everything, whether it's the courses or the indicators. It's a freaking awesome site. Owen did an amazing job with it. So go check that out. Thank you so much, guys. If you guys subscribe to Quantum, guess what? You're going to see me again Sunday. Who knows? Maybe I'll pop in Thursday, Friday morning for a little quickie. We'll see if I'm awake, how I'm feeling. But this is kind of what I do. Like, I'm always here. I'm very passionate about this. I love to teach about this. I love to teach in general, period. I want everyone to be able to succeed. I think we all here equally want that. And it's a beautiful thing, right? This is why we give the time that we give. We're not just going to leave you guys smoking behind, right? Figure it out on your own. I'm always answering questions, posting videos, doing that fun thing. But I appreciate every single one of you guys. Best wishes. Hope you guys had a beautiful 420. I'm going to have some crazy ass dream tonight. I know it. So be ready to hear about it tomorrow, if I even remember it. But have a great night, everybody. We'll see ya.
Appreciate you, Javi. Everybody have a good night. Smoke them if you got them. See y'all soon.